IVM.
Long ago, three young men decided to form an alliance and get into a future. The three men were Amar, Akbar, Anthony, and the film, of course, was beautiful. But we have three other men who formed a geek fruit. Not so interesting story. But their future is all about science fiction, nerd culture, and comic books. That's right. If you're too lazy to read a full book, read a comic book. If you're too lazy to read a comic book, let Geek Fruit tell you about a comic book. And comic books. New episodes out on the IVM podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from. कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Okay, it's cock and bull time here once again. Very excited. I am not. Same bloody faces. We haven't been able to change them during lockdown. However, I want to just quickly rant for a second before we celebrate my birthday with Sriraam's vocals. He's a trained Carnatic vocalist, or at least he's been to Karnataka and sung there. And my point here is, I've just read an entire article on this great man who invented Zoom, the medium we're on. So now I'm convinced that we'll have to stop this in 5 minutes and this show has to end. Because government regulations being what they are and Indo-China issues and all that. Because Eric Yuan is a Chinese immigrant, so to speak, or a man from China who now lives in America and operates from there and owns Zoom. And this is his thing. He's the promoter of Zoom, if that's the right word. So I'm confused. In this particular case, is he, do we look at him as a Chinese product and Zoom as a Chinese product? Or do we look at it as an American product of Chinese origin and hence the American is more important? I'm a little worried. So I'm going to apologize because once the jury is out, the four of us decide to vote, we may vote against using Zoom, in which case this podcast will end very quickly, much to the delight of the 7 people who are waiting for it to end.
Janice, what do you think couples did before TV was invented?
I don't know, go for walks on the beach, long drives, fancy dinners, have more sex maybe?
But what did we do when we decided to move in together? We debated between the Chromecast and the Fire Stick.
We gave up on sleeping early so we could stay up watching true crime shows.
We got ourselves 3 cat babies.
And basically became the cutest couch potatoes around.
Okay then.
In case you guys still haven't got it, we are a TV crazy, Netflix loving, binge watching Mr. and Mrs.
I'm Anirudh Guha.
I'm Janice Sequeira.
And if like us you snort TV for breakfast, lunch and dinner, this is the podcast for you.
Tune in every Thursday on the IVM podcast app or wherever it is that you get your podcast from. This is
Mr.
and Mrs.
Binge Watch.
So let me introduce Sriraam back in Chembur, where he's done wonders to his hair and looks like Zakir Hussain without the hands. We have Sindri, who's been sitting patiently like some dead weight for the last 1 hour. And Amit Doshi, who is the man to answer this question first. Amit, you tell me.
Yes.
Eric Yuan, you probably know more about this than me. So what's the story here? Look, I'm a little worried. If we're going to boycott the Chinese good things, then it should be across the board. It's like how we don't play cricket with Pakistan, but we play volleyball with them. So I don't understand all that. So please go ahead.
So I think it's the same as is Satya Nadella Indian, is Sundar Pichai Indian, right? I mean, like,
Right.
we clearly think he is. So I mean, like, based on our mathematics or our existing calculations of how we calculate Indianness, by that definition, then Eric Yuan is Chinese.
Okay, because see, successful Indians who don't eat cow meat, I'm told, are considered Indian. That's the required requisite as far as Sriraam goes. You told me this in my ear once when we slept together on a last Saturday, I think it was. But coming back to this, he came from China, and but he lives in America, right?
He's an immigrant. He's an immigrant.
He's an immigrant with a passport, American passport.
I think he has an American passport. I think he was born in China, but he has an American passport.
Right. So these are little grey areas which you have to look at. So
Not really. It's not that grey, actually.
the Vion owner, for example, he also has dual residency. He has Canadian as well as Chinese. So then does that allow us to have the IPL with Vivo or not? Again, or just V in Vivo, 50% what?
I don't think there's logic over here. If you want to apply pure logic, see, citizenship is a weird concept in some ways, right? Especially when you talk about like transferring citizenship. It's a strange concept, right? I mean, like, you never know how that works, right? Apparently, according to a lot of BJP followers, OCI is not the equivalent of a Indian citizenship in name anymore, right? It used to be. That's what it was pushed to. That's what it was pushed as. When it was sold to me, it was sold as like, hey, all rights of an Indian citizen except for the right to vote.
You are that.
That's what I was told. Yeah, as an OCI, you can get that, right? But apparently now that's no longer the case.
Okay.
Now it's a privilege. You're allowed. You're given. So yeah.
You guys heard about the H1B visa might be going away from the US?
Yeah, that's been on the cards for some time, no?
Yeah. Trump has been, but really aggressively going after it now.
But let Sriraam come in at this point because we paid him good money. Sriraam is the only academic here who may go for higher studies to the United States this September. I believe you already booked your flight. What's your view on Donald Trump wanting to destroy us collegians?
Okay, so originally about Eric Yuan, and I feel the only way we can consider his product to be American is if he does the same thing that America does in China, which is employ underage Chinese kids to work for Zoom, right? Then the world evened itself out, and we can use this service without any guilt. In terms of the H1B visa, I'm telling you, it has devastated all us South Indians in India. Now we're thinking, what is the point of even doing? What is the point of doing engineering even?
Yeah, exactly.
They finally realized when the visa got banned or discontinued or whatever they want to call it. They finally realized arts as a stream also exists.
Right. Also,
we were oblivious to it about 50 years, and now we are waking up to it.
You're pointing those 4 degrees in India are a waste of time now. Just go with 2.
Yeah.
Because you can't go yonder over the seas anymore.
Yeah.
But hey, he may lose. Hello, guys. He may lose. How does it work, Amit? Let's go back to you as the American correspondent. We're so cheap. If Donald Trump loses the election, and if they have it, I'm sure they'll have it at some point, can you reverse all these orders if they come into place, or do they stay?
Well, you can. I mean, so executive orders can be reversed, but legislation will have to be repassed, right?
And it takes time.
So there are 2 different things, right? So most presidents since Clinton.
Since Vijay Desai of Lions Club Matunga. Also a president and proud.
So what's happened in America is that a lot of governing is now happening through executive orders, right? Where presidents are putting out orders.
He likes that game. He really does.
He does. Of course
he loves that game. I decide.
I mean, Obama did enough.
Obama did a lot of it. Bush did a lot of it. Clinton did quite a bit of it. Before that, it did not happen that much. With George H.W. and Reagan, not so much.
The good old days.
Yeah, but Clinton onwards, it's been a lot of executive order pushing, right? Mostly because you have hostile Congresses, which will not do anything you want them to do, so you govern through executive order.
Right.
So executive orders can be reversed.
We have a parallel in India. It's called the PMO suggests. Right? It's equal to executive order. Yeah.
Which is pretty much the same thing.
Same
right?
thing.
The PMO suggests is the same thing.
Yes. Clap your hands and you must then. Yeah, got it.
But also the election in America, there's absolutely no chance that it doesn't happen in November.
They've never missed an election. Is this correct?
Since 1880, whenever George Washington became president. I think it was 1887 or something like that.
George Washington was 17 something, brother.
Sorry, 17.
What kind of American are you? You're more Indian than American.
Sorry.
100 years apart for Washington. I failed your immigrant test. Out you go. It's like saying Gandhi was born in 1462. It's clearly 1529. Right, Sriraam?
I was concentrating on the 80 number because that's the number that I saw.
So World War I, World War II, lots of other issues, the Great Depression, 29. Nothing has stalled them.
The pandemic of 1918.
I pretend to know that one. Yes, 100%.
The Spanish flu.
Flu, and then they flew back.
The Big Bang Theory show of 2010, that also didn't stop them.
There you go.
The elections, right? They have been through all of it.
So Trump made a suggestion that should we really be doing this when we have to do so much mail-in, this, that, and like every single Democrat, Republican, everybody's like, no, that's not going to happen. Elections are happening on November.
So he's gone from cocky Trump saying elections on time to cocky Trump being little worried.
No, but it was such a nice sneaky move, right? Can we not have elections, guys?
Oh, by the way, I'm listening to reason.
Yeah. And they also asked him, would you accept the results of the election? And he goes, we'll see.
Yeah.
He's always so just blasé about it.
He sounds like a Mumbai student. Mumbai students are spoiled. We always have ATKTs. Sriraam, did you guys still have ATKT in your time after us?
It's the lifeblood of our Indian education system. Until it was overhauled recently, where...
What does it mean?
The classes duffers allowed to keep terms, brother. In 6 months you get to go again.
Allowed to keep terms.
Oh, I thought it was something keep trying, something like that. It wasn't
you're on some medication today. You put Washington 100 years after his death into the mix, and now you're going after this guy.
But it's the same thing. It's allowed to keep trying.
Allowed to keep trying. I thought that's what it meant. Yeah.
But remember the two duffers in class? You'd always tell them ATKT. It was a lovely feeling.
It's interestingly, it's a very Mumbai University term is what I've heard. In the rest of the country, it's called a back, apparently.
And not all parts have it, huh? I dare say that the slightly more intelligent parts where you come from, Sriraam, may not even apply because not too many people fail. But as you go
it does apply, but then you're ostracized by the larger community.
You can't get married.
So,
you can't get married.
Your citizenship is revoked. Is what last I heard.
Fair enough.
But
I'm glad we digressed to your stupid idiosyncrasies of community. But we were here on a huge issue about the entire college sort of culture. We come from about 50, 60 years of desis, I'll call them desis, across the world, going to prominent colleges and then stealing jobs right under the citizens' nose, I'm proud to say.
We have to be proud of it, yeah. That's what makes it. I like how when you're talking about Satya Nadella and Sundar
exactly
Pichai,
that, yes.
You consider them to be Americans, right? And I do, because they were there in that congressional hearing, right, for antitrust laws.
Exactly.
And you felt so proud, right? You were like 2 Indians represented amongst 4.
Yeah. Who never got a parking ticket and now are being given a censorship of some sort. Fabulous. Yeah. By the most powerful body.
Was any of the Chinese startup people there? No. They
declined to comment. Yeah. But listen, let's get back to the college thing for a second, the visa. So I just want to know, so supposing he loses, they hold it in November, he loses, and we have Joe Biden, of course they'll pump blood into him and adrenaline shots and all that, so he can address the nation at some point. It's really scary to look at. It's almost like the man is, I don't want to say the word corpse, but it's like a coma.
You know what, Cyrus, what he looks like, you hear stories about how apparently the CEO of Hyundai, right, in South Korea, he is technically alive. And this is like, he's like biologically alive, but he's like pretty much dead.
Yeah.
So that's what Biden is. He's going to be that president for the United States. They're going to keep him somehow. I think there'll be a hand puppet who just controls him from the top.
I can't believe the country with the most personality that I know. Stereotype American is just full of personality. Maybe a lot of bullshit, but always personality. And they get one guy to run the country. Is he from Canada? I mean, he's got nothing. I watched his interviews and they're dead boring. I'm missing Trump already. I'm like, are you sure you want to vote this guy out?
That's part of the this, right? So one is Joe Biden, when he shows personality, he fucks up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's been known to have So Joe Biden first stood for president, I think, in like 1980.
Amit, what's your dates?
Right?
What's your dates?
Yeah. In a Republican ticket, that too, I remember correctly.
Not a Republican ticket. He's a Democrat.
He's
been a Democrat forever.
Really?
No. He's never switched parties.
Maybe I was reading of something.
Maybe it's a common name like Shah or something. The many Bidens.
No, I think he has voted for Republican values at some point. Like, in the sense, like, he was against abortion for the longest time. He was
that's okay. So they cross vote for issues. That's fine. And especially the so-called liberals, if they don't do that, they'll lose a liberal tag. Sometimes you don't listen to the issue. Just go against the party. That's it.
Obama was against gay rights until like very late into his.
That's true. Again, I think that
is that correct? Or Obama towed the party line? They're two different things. You toe the party line, or you're a vociferous critic.
He towed the party line, which is what Joe Biden did as well. Towed the party line, right? I think it's unrealistic to expect people in the 70s and 80s to be extremely supportive of gay rights. That's just not the way the world was.
To speak their mind. People
especially in the 1370s.
When George Washington was a schoolboy.
Where George Washington was ruling over the US.
See, now Amit is never going to let you forget it. I had moved on.
That's okay. That's fine. I was concentrating more on the 80 part of it than the 1700 or 1800 part of it, because that's where my mind was.
Okay, finish the sentence. You were saying, so in the 70s and 80s, there was no way they would go across the whip, against the whip.
Right? I mean, like, the fact of the matter is that it wasn't practical at that point in time. And also, I mean, like, listen, I doubt that anybody of us who were alive at that point in time were not homophobic to some degree or the other. There's no way that that's not true, that we weren't.
That's a good point.
It's just not true.
I'm alive right now and I'm a bit homophobic, to be honest.
I'm totally homophobic only now.
Yeah.
Because I've seen too many naked men and that's just scarred me.
But it was a different world, right? So, but again, I think the thing with Joe Biden is that Joe Biden, we were talking about him, right?
And his personality or lack of it?
Yeah, so whenever he tries to show personality, he screws up in some way, shape, or form. He does weird stuff, right? Right now, he did something around like he had an interview with with an interviewer who's black, and he questioned that how can you be black and vote for Trump or something like that, some shit like that, which is,
it's almost like reverse racism.
No, he had with Charlamagne the God. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He had an interview with Charlamagne the God, and Charlamagne, he basically says to Charlamagne, if you vote for Trump, you can't be black or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I revoke your blackness.
But
Your black life doesn't matter if you vote for Trump. I'm writing it all down here.
Yeah.
So I want to see what other rules he has for, for passing of his bill.
You know what de Gaulle said? What de Gaulle said towards the end of the war, or after his first presidency or whatever it is, that after me the deluge. I'm thinking sometimes maybe we should just live with Trump. You never know what's going to come after Trump, for God's sake.
No, anything is better.
Amit, you're saying that now. Perspective changes everything.
You feel, Amit, Kanye is better than Trump?
There you go.
Kanye is not better than Trump.
Now don't laugh about Kanye anymore.
Kanye is not getting elected, right?
He's the only candidate, right? That's what they say.
The reason why you have Joe Biden, right? The reason why you have them is because he's the one who seems, it's like you want a conservative, safe choice.
Yeah.
You want a choice which basically, you want to make it. So I was listening to somebody talk about this, right? So what is politics? It's the art of how to make yourself electable, and how to make the other people seem less electable.
But isn't he like the reverse image of Trump in many ways? And they're pushing that. His lack of personality is actually a positive.
It is. It is, though. I mean, like, seriously.
So you're saying Cyrus, he doesn't grab them by the pussy.
He grabs them by the shoulders. He grabs them by the shoulders, apparently.
He doesn't touch. But he's got his own stereotypes, as you mentioned earlier.
No, but he's had issues on that as well, right? There have been complaints about him, being huggy and touchy.
What? He's got skeletons.
Well, no, he's not really.
Me too, skeletons.
Again, see, here's the thing.
Huggy touchy is the lack of personality.
My God. Huggy touchy. Bad huggy touchies, you can't, you get a bad reputation.
See, again, you can't look at times of the 80s and 90s and try and kind of measure them with today's lens. And that's true even for Trump. Right, even Trump's behavior in the 80s and stuff like that. You can't look at that and measure it with today's
Amit,
standards.
that's one thing I 100% agree. Like, who amongst us in the 2010s, if we were offered a guest appearance in WWE, would say no to? We would all say yes, right?
Absolutely.
And we can't judge him based on that appearance alone. Right?
Especially since you can't get an H1B visa. So the best way to get to America is as a wrestler. And then you do your double MBA. Sriraam? Then you do your double MBA.
How else are Indians going to manage to watch? How else are Indians going to manage to catch the Great Khali at Madison Square Garden?
Education's loss was wrestling's gain with the Great Khali. We missed a huge PhD, double PhD on that one.
Have you guys seen the old MSNBC footage from the news channel of Trump partying with Jeffrey Epstein back in the day?
Listen, that's like saying Dawood and the film stars. This kind of thing is, you don't know exactly what the guy's up to and everything. I think you can't just associate people and say that, it's a bit.
Agree with that too completely. You can, guilt by association is bullshit. I'm sorry.
They may be part of a boys' club, but he doesn't know how deep the waters run in that particular.
One of the links you sent me right now.
Was the Ghislaine Maxwell one.
So there was a trip apparently with Epstein, Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and one other dude. And I'm just like, okay, that seems problematic, right? Just right there. I mean, you're talking about three people.
The best actors of their generation, Clinton and Spacey.
You're talking about people with serious issues in this space, in this area, right?
Correct.
But at the same time, again, I can't stand Trump. I think he's an asshole, and he has clearly got real issues in terms of how he treats women. But you cannot blame him for the fact that he was photographed at a party with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, come on, it was just
fair. They were the two males at the party, and all other women.
No, but it doesn't mean that he was running a sex ring. I mean, you're putting the dots together.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is he knew Epstein properly. He was friends and friendly with Epstein.
But so did millions of celebrities.
Yeah, but then later on, he went on and just denied even knowing the guy. So obviously,
he definitely doing something.
I heard Arnav partied with him. Huh? Sorry, go on.
See, let's face it, guys. If either one of us, gets accused of some really bad shit, we're going to be like, we just podcasted with each other. It's not like we actually were friends, all right? And that's the line that we're going to toe at the end of the day.
No, but that is truth. There is truth to that, Sriraam. How well do you know me? How well do I know you?
How can you be responsible for the?
How is that my responsibility?
Going by the same Dawood paddle, I've asked Cyrus so many times who is winning the next IPL match. He doesn't tell me. He just doesn't tell me how am I going to make money.
Whichever team can put 11 on the field without COVID is winning. That's how it's going to. Let's understand cricket of 2020.
But I love the fact that they took the IPL. They're taking it to Dubai, right? This year. It's beautiful. They're taking directly to the source where, the betting happens. It's finally all the pretense.
More importantly, where everything can be done. Out here, there'll be so many arguments and everybody will say, no, you can't take a chance. Here, there, quietly, everything will be done. So, if you ask me,
So the
I'm all
NBA's
for it.
worked really well. The whole bubble in the NBA worked fantastically well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for that joker who went to the lap dance. What was that?
Well, one guy went to a strip club, one guy went to a wedding.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of things like that. But then again, the second they are caught out over there, they're put into their own quarantine before they're allowed back into the bubble.
Amit,
It's actually
going to a
really
strip
well.
club we can live with, but going to a wedding at a time like this?
Seriously.
Come on.
That is just,
Unless he went to the strip club after the wedding, which is fine.
Next thing, we're going to defend that person going to a hospital. Seriously.
My God, people are nuts. Really?
The guy,
Going to hospitals.
I can't believe that. I don't remember if we spoke about this or if I found this out later, right? But apparently that strip club is the guy's favorite restaurant.
Yeah, we talked about this, correct.
Apparently there's a burger that he likes. And we thought it was like a joke, but apparently the truth is stranger than
Dirty
fiction.
buns, right?
Yeah,
The dirty buns.
He went, ask any of my teammates, they'll tell you which my favorite restaurant is.
No,
And it's the
so
strip
then
club.
I saw an interview,
Which is your-
right? So he did an interview in in March or something like that before lockdown.
Uh-huh.
In that interview, somebody asked him what his favorite restaurant was, and he said it was this strip club. It was the strip club.
So that can go both ways, right, Amit? See, either that shows how bad, restaurants are having in today's times that even though you have such a great burger, you have to open a strip club on the side just so that business function. That is one way to look at it. Or it's the greatest excuse ever. Like, honey, I don't go there for the stripping. I go there for the burger.
For the ketchup.
Right? So, for either ways you look at it, it's
Or-
problematic.
But do you get
Or
a lap
he-
dance free with the burger or a burger free with a lap dance? See, these are very big points for me.
It's if anything, Cyrus, that's truly a happy meal
This
in my
is-
book, right? It's
I-
finally
Happy ending
let
meal,
me
is
just
it?
say
No.
this. This
Yeah.
is a strip club that caters to millionaires. Nothing is free. Burgers are not free. Lap dances are not free. Nothing is free.
nothing.
If you're
Even the
that
ketchup
rich,
is
why
not-
can't you bring the strip club home? I mean, why do you have? Oh, a wife is there, correct? But your
That's
other
part of
homes,
what they do.
they've got homes everywhere. These rich people.
You know what they say in the US, right?
Oh.
Ghar ki strip club.
Bahar ke barabar, what?
It's an old Oklahoma saying. I have heard it. Yes,
It
yes.
is.
Yes, cheers to you, mate. Good to have you on board with your expert analysis, making sure that we get everything right. Facts are important on our podcast. We can't leave any stone unturned to give you the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are both the
Said
fake
by
and
said
the
by
fact
Republic
news,
TV,
right?
but then late in the night. Yeah. Sorry. So I think
we are Republic TV and the all fact check at the same fact check at the same.
I didn't think how close Republic as a title is to Republican. Just for a second I realized.
when there's a whole litigation that when initially they want the channel to be called Republic, and then Subramaniam Swamy he
Put
sued
a-
Arnab
yeah,
Goswami
yeah.
saying that you can't use that, so they became Republic TV. That's the
So is that it? You just add
actually-
TV and it's fine. Oh, because
Just add
Republic
TV, yeah,
means
that's-
India.
yeah,
or something like that.
You can float a channel name Vande Mataram, but make it Vande Mataram TV. And
Okay. Can you put your own name in front of the television? I think you should have put Arnav. It would have made more sense. I mean, why do this whole nonsense about republics? Just go straight to Arnav TV.
I love the
I
fact-
make up
I
the
love the
story.
fact- I love the fact that every night he goes and be like, now he's like, Poochta hai Bharat, right? Because your nation. I like how he's equated himself to the
Bharat.
nation. It's just sort of,
He's like that call center guy who you get through. He's the only guy available. So that's the situation. You have to call him to get your stuff.
to get to the PMO. Yeah, that's
Wherever. It's him. One line. But I want to know what he's like at home. Does he go back at home and does he still have that hangover?
Exactly.
Pass me the namak. The nation needs more salt. More salt.
That's what he's like. So he's like, why is this Matar Paneer undercooked? Poochta hai Bharat. Everything is extrapolated to the nation.
The panelists will be only who? The family members. It'll be a little unfair. Not again, Daddy. Not again, please. All right, listen,
Children are
we're
just
digressing
embarrassed.
from our intellectual pursuit of conversation here.
So,
Where were we?
yeah, okay.
Silvery, you're supposed to anchor it. What are you doing?
Okay, let's
Letting
get to the
Sriraam run
topic.
riot with his stupid analysis, and I'm going mad here. And Amit is, I think, become behosh now.
I think Amit doesn't hear us clearly, and he's going purely by telepathy at this point. He's trying to lip reading as we go along.
So see, Amit he's not used to infants. So if infants have a conversation for a long period of time, he just gets irritated. It's like he's at a 5-year-old birthday party and has to play the clown, and that doesn't work for him.
Hey, speaking of birthday party, Cyrus, you turned all of 16 years old yesterday. So
Yeah,
happy birthday.
sweet of you. Sweet
How
of you
many
to
people
notice.
wished you?
By 11,
did wish you.
a lot of people wish me, but not people I know. People I know wouldn't bother. But
Yeah, so I didn't wish you. You basically went on a whole rant on the other
yeah.
day.
Right,
So I
right,
was like, okay, let's not send you a wish.
yeah, good.
Somebody on Twitter told you to fuck off because he said that's what you wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah.
We got a lot of
How sweet.
we got a lot of
Sorry
happy
about
birthday
that, Cyrus,
emails.
though.
We got a lot of emails wishing you a happy birthday as well, Cyrus.
Oh, we did? Let's do those.
I missed the
later, right? Let's
80s,
see
you
if
know.
there are any
In
interesting
the
ones.
80s, it was your birthday. You call 6 people home, you give them eclairs, and you send them off with chutney sandwiches, and you give them back
Yeah.
presents from other presents you recycled because you're a good
Chutney
human being.
sandwiches and gorai wala cake. I remember.
Exactly,
those
that's
birthday
it. And then you never
Yeah.
talk about all these things. Here it never ends. You have to keep texting, and then my mother is sending me her friends whose names I don't know. So and so sent you happy birthday. I said, why? That person's on their last birthday and they're sending me birthday greetings.
But
I
that
sound so
doesn't mean they
ungracious,
don't
so I stopped
deserve
it.
their final chutney sandwich and eclairs, Cyrus.
We've stopped that.
Just
We've stopped
they're
that. Because
last.
of lockdown, we don't have all that stuff, bro. We just have a handshake. And that too from far.
You remember when they had a special party and there were samosas out there? That was a special
Yeah.
party.
Yeah. So the richer people in class would have these 4 or 5 dishes and make us look small and stupid. And so I would avoid going there because the complex would take long to heal. You know, and then I don't want my mom to have no answers when I say, samosas, samosas. And she puts her head down, you know, feeling like a failure. I don't want to go through that, yeah. Sriraam, what was your birthday parties like? I'd love to know.
Oh, it was the one day in school where you were allowed to wear formal, like, you know, like
Correct.
regular-
Colored clothes. Yeah,
regular
same here.
colored
All of
clothes,
us,
and
yeah.
everyone else was the.
So you look
the
like an
school
idiot.
uniform.
That's the first.
So it looked like you're the only one
Yeah.
who didn't get the memo.
Yeah. Or didn't get into school. You just wandered in
That's
lost.
true.
Yeah.
That is true. And we of course had parties where we had to play games like pin the tail
Yeah.
on
On the uncle. Yeah.
On the uncle? Oh, you guys.
Well,
were
if you didn't have paper, then one uncle would stand there.
Oh, that's way better.
You see, Parsis have very creative minds.
I like that. I like that way better than.
I'm not calling him a pedophile, but 7-year-old children throwing themselves at the tail area.
See, this is classic Trump and Epstein against
There you
Cyrus,
go.
where you're trying to disassociate yourself with
I am.
the uncle.
I was innocent. Me lord. Mia Kalpa Nati. I was, which is Gujarati, but my name is not Kalpa. I just realized it's wrong. Fairly popular name in Gujaratis. What a stupid thing to say. Mia Kalpa Nati. That actually made me laugh. It was that bad. Sriram,
That's hilarious.
I
Yeah.
hated your story about birthdays, but thank you so much for your greeting. And Sylvie, do you have another story or should we go to break?
No, let's do one story and then we go
Yeah,
to
let's do
break.
a story.
Not to be a pylon during 2020, but I don't know if you guys have heard this. There is a new tick-borne virus spreading across China, in East China, which has infected 60 people and killed 7 so far, is what they're saying. Have you guys heard about this?
Yeah, but I'm not doing another lockdown. I'd rather die. So you just tell everybody out there, you get rid of TikTok or just ticks or whatever you want, but I am going out. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a tick-borne virus. Okay.
yeah.
No, there are 7 million species on Earth. If 1% have problems, I mean, what are we going to do? You just get on with it.
Correct.
Let's still say the woolly mammoth has something in his ass. But what can I do? I just have to live.
I think they're extinct now, right?
They are. They couldn't take the stuff
ass
coming from
also.
China. But their direct descendants are there.
Yeah. It's the elephant, right?
That's very... See, so your education and mine was similar. Where did we go wrong? Unbelievable. Silvery?
No, but this is not surprising, right? I mean, like, we're expecting more pandemics. So they're
Yeah, but
gonna
now people are
they're gonna keep
also
coming.
paranoid. So
No,
the
but
reaction...
I think the fact that we've been able to, this is very educational, right? I mean, like, people understand some of the precautions that will generally keep you safe across all kinds of different pandemics.
Yeah.
So I think is a benefit that we'll see out of it. But yeah, we're going to see more of these.
Don't lose sight on the main problem here for Indians, which will always be and has always been gonorrhea, which is a sexually transmitted disease. So I am more worried about that. Don't worry about the tick. Yeah. Look at the tick within. That's the issue. Sriram, your points on the subject.
I mean, you had me at the dick within, Cyrus. So I am.
I said tick within, but T, D, different cultures like B and V.
By the way, why are all these pandemics emerging from China?
Because they are cheaper and smaller. They tend to get away with it.
Yeah. So a more serious reason is because massive deforestation has happened in China, and because of that, wildlife which had habitats which were in forests are now coming out into more urban habitats Also, what's happened is that because you're starting to see more animals come into places which we humans have access to, you're seeing more hunting happen. So people are consuming more wild animal flesh. And so all of that put together has kind of led to the situation because most of these diseases travel from animal to human.
But let me warn you that this can't come to India because we have a lockdown at the moment with Chinese goods. So there's no question of the Chinese disease coming here. It's just not going to happen.
We have but the Indian disease is not far away because we're doing the same shit.
Right. But our animals are basically people from Nalasopara coming to South Bombay, which is not quite the same thing.
We're not far from like some American president going Indian virus. We're not that far from that.
It's amazing. Amit doesn't smile, and Sriraam loves the idea of this almost classism, racism. I like the different reactions.
I just let that sit. I decided not to engage with that.
See, you know the problem with people like Amit is Cyrus.
Yeah,
they are like the guys in Jan. They were like, oh, it's just a minor, person from Nana Sopara. It's not going to affect the world.
And then 4 months later,
4 months later, here we have to lock down the entire.
It's called Valkeshwar Sopara now because there's just so many. Oops! I apologize to everyone from Nala Sopara who's listening to the show, which is probably 60 to 70% of our market. So I will strike that off the record. Ours is just flippant rubbish. We don't mean any malice. We do, but not online, for sure.
Yeah. But having said that, people from Nalasopara, please stop coming to Bombay.
No, come. Just don't cross Shivaji Park. No, there just has to be a limit. That's it. Stick to boundaries. Boundaries is what keeps society out of chaos. If we don't have boundaries, things go crazy.
Yeah. Was a saying like great fences make great neighbors or something, no?
Good fences make good neighbors.
There you go.
And then the Bible says you must not covet your neighbor's wife. So that's why build the fence high.
That's true.
That's an important point. Yeah. All right. Are we taking a quick break and then we'll go back into the intellectual pursuit of our podcast?
Hey, finally we've plugged in the Bible, so we've failed in every other sponsorship. So if the Catholic Church, you're listening to this, we are open.
Really, Sriraam? I mean, enough lobbyists to attack us. Would you really even ask? I mean, why? Really? All right. Sriraam, but on that note, if they do want to put money into I got my own cup here somewhere. One sec. Damn.
Yeah.
Will this do? Collection box?
No, Cyrus, we all need to have a junior bank account. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Deposit some.
If only there weren't so many travel bans. Otherwise, there's a place called Seychelles, which you can sing to Kokomo. There's a place called Seychelles. That's where I want to go. We'll take a break, and then we'll come.
Hi guys, this is Ayushi.
And I am Ritasha.
And welcome to Agla Station Adulthood.
It's a fun podcast we've got going on, and we'd love for you to tune in and enjoy with us.
Join us as we stop at various stations and discuss different topics that seem to be bothering us and hopefully
Dating,
you as well.
relationships, beauty, just being an adult, lots of different things.
We don't have a great grip on it, but we've done okay so far.
Catch Agla Station Adulthood every Thursday on the IVM app, the IVM website, or wherever else you get your podcasts.
All right, we're back here after a break, and Sriraam has a huge question about my hair. You were saying?
How is your hair suddenly so flat? You were a fellow curly hair.
No, I have curly hair. As it gets longer, it gets more curly. But I must have just used the washroom. I must have just had a bath before. Because otherwise, this is like the highlight of my day. So I want to look fresh for 14 to 15 minutes. And then I let it, do it.
Wait, by the way, so 2 questions. Are we now having baths for this podcast now? Because I wasn't aware of those things. And honestly, if I knew that before, I wouldn't have agreed.
Well, the podcast is my side thing. I actually am a professional bather. I go in for about 15, 20 seconds whenever I feel like, and it's just like something to do. And but I don't consume too much water for any environmentalists who are getting angry. See, mine is almost a dry bath. But I do stand under the shower. Oh, and I've never heard of soap.
You treat a bath like people treat cigarettes, is how you treat baths.
Like people treat me. Within 15 or 20 seconds, they leave. So
I was going to say Cyrus treats them like taking a leak, but cigarettes also.
No, my leak takes much longer than my bath. Because my leak is in like an EMI thing. It starts, then it stops, then it starts again. Then there's an afterthought. Then I leave and I say, wait a minute, maybe there's a little left. Then I go back. So these are good things in the lockdown. They've helped me get through boring days.
That's true.
And then I have to clean the toilet area as well because the wife is very strict and wears a uniform modeled on.
Yeah, we've heard the flushing stories from
German army.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I realized I needed to renew my Amazon Prime account because I've started to take a good dump of late. So,
Okay, you waited a long while to get that in. Fair enough. We'll give you a tagline. We'll loop it. We'll play it 4 times. Are you happy now?
we can make a.
I would Amit back. Without him, we have no show. We're just 3 people talking rubbish in the canteen. Amit, can you come back and can you talk some sense and save the podcast?
Yes, Amit, please.
I don't know how I can save it from Amazon Prime requiring a dump. What happened? What'd you just do to yourself, man?
No, I put that thing on the wrong thing, so I thought I didn't get a shock, but I thought I would. But my lack of knowledge when it comes to electronics is just ridiculous, honestly.
This is something we want to talk about last week, but we couldn't get to it. This is the new education policy 2020. Have you guys been following this?
You know what? I wish
because of
I
the
had
tragedy
more than I
yesterday,
had.
it got wiped out. They were discussing it in detail, actually. Go on.
Oh.
Okay, so I'll run down. There are, say, 15 big reforms in schools that are happening. And I
So
can
mention
just
all
read.
Pick
No,
5 of
I'll
them.
pick.
I'll go to the other
No, not
podcast
all
if
of
you do
them.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, correct.
Number 1 is they've decided we need education. So that's the biggest reform. And the rest is just subjective. Yeah.
So the first important one is that they are changing the 10 plus 2 structure to a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure.
Slow.
Wait.
Everyone is not Sriraam.
5
plus 3
plus
3 plus 3. So 11 standard
11.
school and then
That's
4 years
American
of
style.
college.
That's American style.
Yeah.
No, America is 12 plus 4.
What?
Yeah.
America ends at 11, no? High school?
No, 12 plus 4.
So it says
Ninth is your so ninth.
Oh,
is
hence
when you
16
go
years,
into high
16 years,
school.
and then you try to
Freshman,
rematch.
sophomore, junior.
You're right.
This comes to 15, right? 5
this
plus
is
3 plus 3 plus 4.
Yeah, it continues to say 15. It doesn't go
Yeah.
to 16. And what you're doing is you're moving 11th standard into school.
I should think so. Some of them don't have mustaches. I talk about the women only, of course.
this is saying this will include 12 years of schooling and 3 years of preschooling. This is what they're counting till. I don't think they're
Preschooling?
counting the college. Preschooling, like Anganwadi and nursery and all that.
Kindergarten?
KG.
That they're,
Yeah.
that they're
Say it again.
counting or not
Say it
They're
again.
counting. They are counting. This will
But it
include
doesn't
12.
add up there.
So you'll need to take tuitions to understand the education process now.
Yeah.
One sec. So it's 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4.
Yeah, 5 plus 8 plus
I
11
thank the
plus
education
15, right?
ministry on giving us such a simple upheaval to the educational ministry. Excellent.
Yeah, so then what are you? I mean, okay, so you're moving college in over there, so that means you're till 18. So 3 to
Yeah.
18, 15 years?
Yep.
So similar to how we have those high schools in the elite schools, the IB
Yeah,
schools.
yeah. So it is
And then
that
you
kind
go,
of.
after that you figure out your life, after 12.
So 9, 10, 11, 12 you spend in a new school, I guess. That's the last
And if you
four.
fail,
And then before that,
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Oh.
They've broken down the ages also.
6,
They broke it down the ages also. Like what
8,
ages
7,
will be
6,
like the first 5 years.
4, 3, and then everything before 2, 1, and
You sound like a rocket.
KG, pre-KG. Yeah, okay, you know what? This is the American system. It is the American system.
I told you.
Yeah, a
That was
lot of
best.
things are close to the American
Nursery,
system as well.
pre-KG, KG, right? Nursery, pre-KG, KG, 1, 2. That's your 5. Plus 3 is 3, 4, 5. Plus 3 is 6, 7, 8, which is middle school in the US. And then high school in the US is 9, 10, 11,
If someone just tuned into the podcast, they'll think we're absolutely like, we're 3 children now, just
Suddenly,
basic
yeah.
arithmetic,
I mean,
you know. Plus
They,
2,
they, must
plus
have, they
3.
must have thought, why am I on the Byju's app suddenly?
Yeah. And why are the early learners?
Okay, so that's the big reform. And
The next one, this one has been getting some flack. This next reform, it is teaching up to class 5th will be in the mother tongue / regional language.
oh yeah, I heard this.
This has been getting flack because they have
What
neglected
is,
to
in a
include
cosmopolitan
English.
society, everyone has different languages then.
Correct. That's
How
what
do you do that?
they've neglected to include English. Like initially, so they came out with only the mother tongue. Okay, the first 5 years should be only to the mother tongue.
But I'm sorry, but Cyrus and
And then-
mine, both of our mother tongues is English. I would consider my
Yeah.
mother tongue English.
I think
Correct,
in
correct.
English, that's one. But if I was supposed to learn in Gujarati, I'd fail now.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the problematic part because the South states were like, firstly, Hindi is not our mother tongue. None of our schools teach in Hindi. So
You're
we
going to
can't
start
we
another
can't-
war of secession.
Yeah, so we can't do this anyway. So then the state came out with, okay, it can be mother tongue / regional language, regional local language, but still doesn't include English. So English medium schools
Yeah.
right now are in
I feel that's the
tussle.
thing. I think there's a shortage, I'm assuming, of English teachers, which leads
But again,
to
this
any
is
sort of...
these are government schools, aren't they?
No, the person who framed it didn't have an English education.
It says the mother tongue or local language will be medium of instruction in all schools up to class 5th.
And then you learn Greek.
Yeah.
In all schools. till class 5th.
And then?
Or then English can continue. Then you'll have English after that. I think English.
But you didn't learn English till the 6th, so what the hell are you learning?
The hope is that by the age of 8
13.
or something,
Huh.
8,
6th is
13.
12 or something.
Fifth standard, no? So fifth standard would be 12 or 11, no?
Yeah.
So by the age
16?
of 12, you watched enough Pornhub that you would learn English fluently by that.
But I
then
watch
after
Scandinavian stuff, and it's all in like Swedish and Danish and all.
You have to have your subtitles on in today's time, Cyrus, I feel.
But then I have to read. That makes me concentrate too much on two different things, and I have a capacity of a mosquito. I have to stick on one thing.
Cyrus, the government is trying to do everything it can to make it easier for us to get educated.
Well, they have to look at us disadvantaged unintellectuals as well, right? You can't just have everybody who's super smart who can go on a three-way process at the same time.
See, I feel that's the problem with today's generation like you, Cyrus.
That we don't
they
try hard
feel
enough?
That everything needs to be spoon-fed. Not only are you getting porn with English subtitles.
It's not that. It's like reservation. Sriram, give the devil its due. Reservation's point is well made. You have to look after the lesser privileged.
True.
In this case, the lesser intellectuals.
True.
Again, we have digressed and killed a very serious topic. Thank you, Sriram. I applaud you. If no one else does.
No, it says. So English will still be taught as a second language or a third language, but it won't be the medium of instruction. Basically, is what will happen.
So basically, I have to learn.
Yeah.
I
Can I
have to
tell you
learn
something?
history and civics in Hindi.
Can I
Yeah,
tell you something?
I think that's what they.
Across the board.
Which I feel helps
Okay,
with,
guys,
Sarkari
one
stuff
second.
better.
One second. Let's just talk about this for a second. Do you realize that all the leaders, the movers and shakers of our country who come from regional backgrounds and don't speak English, sometimes don't speak Hindi, do you realize that almost all their kids, as they are successful, go to English-speaking schools, American colleges, UK colleges?
Yeah.
Can you explain how Chirag Paswan speaks fluent English, but his dad doesn't speak a word? Or Lalu Prasad's son's children speak perfect English, the father struggles. Can you explain all that? Or Uddhav Thackeray doesn't speak English well, but Aditya Thackeray speaks like anybody from South Bombay. So, why does that happen?
Because I feel that's the motivator for people to get into politics, that someday their children might get into the US. All right, in a great university abroad that they can speak fluent English.
With public money well spent.
Exactly, and I feel that is very noble. That's one of the things that's working for us in our democracy. So let's not ruin that.
Yeah. I think, or they think we're really so smart that avoid English education till the 6th standard, and then we'll just pick it up because we're that good. You're speaking Oriya till the 6th standard. It's like Ugly Duckling is the name of the poem or whatever in Oriya, and then the next day you've got to do this, Hamlet in English, straight start to finish, learn the whole play, and no problems.
See, personally, I would have been in the same boat as every other person who didn't learn English until I saw Nikhil Chinappa, your good friend Nikhil Cyrus, present MTV Select. Right, and he was like, and he
so
did it
awesome was the first word you learned.
Yeah,
because he held on to that a lot. We all wait for him to say awesome. It would drop very quickly once the rolling started. Everybody nickels on 15 seconds. We'd bend and all, and we're like, awesome. It never failed us.
And there you go. And it's the need for, hearing, Chumbawamba's Thump Thumping on MTV that forced me to learn English. And that is what people are going to find what their Thump Thumping is in their time. And
I mean, how many people have learned the language from one song and one song alone? I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Exactly.
I mean, that song alone opens so many metaphors.
Exactly. It was our Jack and Jill went up the hill.
Yeah. There was no strenuous athleticism involved because the guy's in a car. Yeah. Oof. And it explains to you that you don't worry about your social life as you get older. If you're a human being and you're with a doll, that's perfectly acceptable. Right?
Exactly.
I'm good.
The second was Mambo number 5. It's a little bit of Monica.
What?
Oh yeah, that was great. You learn names of all the girls who reject you in the future.
And counting as well, Sahil, because the song started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it's beautiful.
And then for the Indian ethos, there was songs like I'm a Creep by Radiohead, which I thought was just, you need that. How do you explain yourself in public?
That's more like a college song,
Yes, it's an anthem, bro. It's an anthem.
Did you guys ever hear Devang Patel songs? Patel's Scopes?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
I have the poster in my room.
Of course.
What are you saying? Oh, wow.
It was
love it.
Listen, you're joking. Devang Patel, for a couple of years, was getting more money to perform anywhere in India than anybody else. Huh? Just for a little while, he was really big. I remember we did a lot of shows with him. He would come on our events and all that. And what was that one song that made him famous? Disco.
Patel rap.
Patel rap.
No, he had a Mambo number 5. He had a Mambo number 5
Subsequently.
remake.
Yeah,
of it.
Mambo number 5. But
Yeah.
Patel Rap was the one that got it. That's really...
So for 2 years, he was hot. He was really hot.
Yeah.
Then I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
And he did a bunch of those Govinda songs which became iconic, right? Which is Madhuri Dixit Mili Rakste Me. That was him. No?
I think when he did
Yeah,
that,
correct.
Govinda's career plummeted from
I think that's the problem with our country. We don't respect great talent. Devang Patel, Cyrus Brocha,
Yeah.
Antariksh Thakkar.
Yeah.
Sriraam
I'm
Padmanabhan.
glad you've chosen the
You're
Father,
waiting.
Son, and the Holy Ghost. I can't think of a better anthology than these three, to put out there for everyone. God bless you, Sriram. Really. I can't say anything to you because in the times we live in, your name is Sriram. So I dare make a
There you
joke. I have to go straight to Mr. Padmanabhan. Okay, I'm losing my Amit. He's
moving on.
slipping the facetious behavior of the three others or two
Amit.
others.
No. I'm
He's
just
already
like,
been
I
quite
don't know
strong.
what to do.
Amit is being nostalgic for, like the seen and the unseen podcast right now.
Wow.
Those guys were so
Correct.
much better in terms
No,
of...
he's thinking what other medium. I've canned the visual. Now it's only audio. If I can can the audio, is there a third medium? And he's just thinking that in his head as an entrepreneur.
Which is purely through mime,
Yes.
and nothing else. Just
But why? If they're going to start English in the 6th, why can't we learn like that? Silvery, are you still involved in the podcast or you now?
I am. Right here. I'm just waiting to continue with the next point.
How sweet. You sound like my family members when I talk. They take a pause and carry on like nothing happened. Yeah. Go on.
Okay, the next one. This one is actually quite interesting. I think it seems pretty good. Multiple entry and exit points in higher education. In the sense, under the 4-year program. So basically, all degree courses, most of them will end up being a 4-year course by the year 2030.
But you don't save a year because you're doing 11 years before that. So it's coming to the
correct.
same thing,
no,
no?
the idea is, I'm assuming that's the idea, because every time Indians need to go abroad, you need to show 16 years of education, right? So,
Yeah.
instead of, so I think this makes it 16, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it says multiple entry and exit points in higher education. Under the 4-year program, students can exit after 1 year with a certificate, after 2 years with a diploma, after 3 years with a
gold medal.
bachelor's degree, and with a bachelor's with research after 4 years. So basically, so multiple exit points from higher education. So I think that's great,
you
no?
can hear
Because
me.
once, if you
Right, I'll
realize,
back in a second.
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
if you realize after a certain
And I'm
point,
back.
hey, this course is not working out for me, I can always move on to something else or just get into the workforce if I want or start anything.
Well,
I think
if
it's
I was
pretty
a parliamentarian, I'd stonewall all this. A, I don't like change in any case, and B, I think the problem with the education. I don't think these broad changes alone have to be made. It's more about getting the more sort of practical education from the beginning, so people can get into their streams faster. That's if I was made education minister, I would just try to look at that.
Vocational education.
Vocational. Just immediately try and get that idea out, so you can try yourself. Like if Sriram had a chance, instead of being a comedian, he could have been a painter. For example.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that
But
what?
then I couldn't afford it's a true story. I couldn't afford an easel stand
Yeah.
when I was 4.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Also, the neighbors complained that in lieu of a brush, you were using and that, it's not a good thing to do.
Oh, really? Listen, every artist has their
Starts-
medium, Cyrus.
starts.
So don't
Yeah, I agree with you.
don't try to gang up on me.
Yeah. I mean, some people cut off their ear with greatness. You were going to cut off your.
There you go.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
you go.
God, no.
You don't remember Van Gogh for all the flower pots, do you?
No, I can't name a painting, but I can name the ear.
Exactly. That's what it is. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so in your system, I'd have been castrated at age 6, right? Like that was...
As I was. I still can't get over the fact that you start English in the 6th, and then it's your premier language if you want. So what the hell's going
That's
on?
true.
You're struggling with your mother tongue, but most urban people struggle with their mother tongue,
See,
especially
that's
writing
why-
it.
but-
Writing
but
it will be a
I- but I-
nightmare.
Yeah, but I like that, Cyrus, because this
Can
is
you write it?
technically on paper. This
Yeah.
is good, right? It helps
Yeah.
the students. Which
But what
means
language
you
is
have
it?
a-
It's in English, by the way, this entire proposal.
No, but Cyrus, which means it's definitely going to give them a leg up over us who had to struggle through the fuck all old system, right?
Yeah.
Now, to equalize this, what do? They're like, don't learn English at all. We're like, suddenly we are back in the game, with our language
Yeah.
skills. And that's best. I mean,
But the funny part of the whole thing is that for the last 40 years, when we've had this Desi versus Swadeshi issue and all, and people saying culturally we don't have to get bankrupt and follow the West and this and that, we are so rich and blah, blah, blah. Then they have this pro-Hindi stance all the time. And then the kids go into complete westernized zones. And if you meet the kids or the generation that comes after them, they're more westernized than you are. And they've gone to Swiss finishing schools. I mean, if
Because-
you talk to
I
Akhilesh
think
Yadav,
that-
he's got a slight Aussie twang if you talk a little long because he spent 4 years in Sydney.
I think that's a big thing that you're going to see over here, right? The rich and powerful are going to send their kids abroad. Because if they're forced into educating their kids in a language which they don't think is the right language for the global citizen, they're going to send their kids abroad.
And the huge
That's what you're
advantage
gonna
we
see.
have as Indians being about 70, 80 million English-speaking people in this country is that we already have that advantage over foreigners across the board everywhere we go, since most lingua franca business is in English.
Yeah.
Right, Sriram?
Yeah, if anything, that's the reason why we South Indians are valued in the rest of the world, because we ourselves said no to Hindi and we are like, thank you. We'll walk right into Infosys.
And I thank you for that, Sriram. Really struggled in the early years myself. Why did you choose Infosys? Is it because it's also South Indian run? Is there a connect here?
Yeah, it is.
Ah.
It's, yeah, of course.
So nepotism, I say. Nepotism here as well.
I could have easily said Patni, which is OG Infosys, but
There you go.
there you go.
So I'm saying this should also be said that right now this is just a policy. It's not a bill or a law yet. So if that happens, they will obviously have some more reforms. So I'm sure they'll have to include English in lower lower standards
No,
as well.
I don't think they have to. I don't think they have to.
But
Because-
what will English medium schools do? What will English teachers do? Who
No,
are
no,
teaching?
I think they're trying to work around it.
English
backwards.
medium
They don't
schools
have-
will do what they always do. Produce the people who run the country. This
Oh,
terrible reverse
mic drop.
snobbery will not change. Country is run by a syndicate of people who come from a certain area. Let's be honest about it.
somewhere in Doon, right? In there.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the policy is written. Now, of course, we've had an aberration because somebody from Ahmedabad turns up and, now he runs the country for a few years. But again, he's educated. It's not like he's
MA
not.
in political science.
And he actually speaks pretty good English when he wants to. But then I think they put on an image of, it's a difficult language. So I better pause before I say long words so people know.
And misspell strength and all of that. So.
That now with the spell check makes you lazy. So I guess I'll allow that. Yeah. Let's not criticize the important people of our times. Because your address in Chembur is known to everybody.
Every episode we give out my location and with on top
The Chamber of Commerce, where you are, sir.
it's like we give out my location on top of that. I'm just saying shit
It's
against
Chembur.
this.
I mean, the guy has to have no other work. If he's going to go, hi, Sriram Kute. Supposedly there'll be 40 Tamil boys with the name Sriram somewhere in the area. And go, Sriram Kute, Sriram Kute. It'll just go on for years.
But Cyrus, you really seriously underestimate how uneducated and unemployed our youth is.
I don't underestimate. I've just been studying it as a research document for my book, India Going Forward Sideways.
Yeah.
It's out on Monday.
Yeah, as long as it's not out in English.
Of course not. The first 5 chapters are in Oriya. I've been telling you that from the beginning, and you're not listening to me. From chapter 6, we vaguely start. And there is only Shakespeare. I just copy-pasted.
Yeah.
There's Macbeth, there's Hamlet, there's Lear, there's a little Premchand in English. It's all there.
Yeah. There's a chapter on Nikhil Chinappa.
He's written the forward. He's written one word. Awesome. No, listen, I love the guy. Don't make fun of Nikhil. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And he's a Kurgi with a gun. So I don't want to take a chance. Yeah.
Okay, next one is this one. This one again is pretty good. It is easing of board exams and changes in report card. So basically, they said that the progress card of all students for school-based assessment will be redesigned. It will be holistic, 360 degrees, and it will include in great detail the progress and uniqueness of each learner in the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains.
So
the
not
progress
just marks.
Yeah, exactly. It'll include self-assessment, peer assessment, and teacher assessment.
This appalls me. I'm appalled because I spent 10 years mugging to get marks. To make me and my life look like a waste of time.
Yeah,
This is wrong for a whole generation of idiot urban Indians who went and mugged to get marks. It was all about 87 vis-a-vis 86.
Exactly. Which is, I think,
wrong.
what we'll have, which is what Cyrus we'll have in our favor, where they might have the better education, but they might not remember jack shit. They'll have the worst memory to
They may
back
not
it.
have Wi-Fi where they are. So
There you go.
They will.
And
Then our
therefore-
memories will come into play. Oh, Gavaskar scored his 2900 in which city? And I can't Google. It's not working. Procha. Delhi. Super.
There you go. Yeah.
I can see the Infosys says, yes, this is the man for marketing. 7-figure salary, 2 cars. You think that's the right amount? Sriram?
That's an intern's salary, but
Just
that's
check with your cousins, all the successful ones.
They don't talk to me anymore, Cyrus.
How can you be a Tambram comedian? I mean, that itself is funny. What's wrong with you? It's a community of overachievers. Like the worst guy, all my Tambram friends, they all have 7 to 8 degrees. And then they do something else. And, a startup which makes millions. You're a freaking comedian in India in lockdown doing Zoom. Okay? Waving to people outside your window to get a laugh. What are you saying? What have you done? Don't mock education.
I like the fact that though that it has all these like psychometric level in this level, in that level, in this. I mean, it's beautiful because if you are by the age of 4 a great drug dealer, you are on your way already.
Good metaphor to go to. Narcos has played its role.
There you go. I feel like you don't have to waste your time learning.
But you've touched a chord there. Sometimes I look at these people who go from like zero, somewhere in Venezuela, in the outback, you've gone from like $0 to 100 billion in like 10 years. And you're thinking, what the hell? You can be a great comic or you can be a great whatever you do, but you're never going to earn that kind of money. Exactly. And the respect where Netflix makes a season on you, then another season, then they change the actor and make a third season, then Amazon makes another show, but they use different names, but the same story, and then everybody has these strange South American accents, which to Indian ears the same, but they're clearly from different parts of South America. I mean, mind boggles. Yeah. What are we, Sriraam? What are we doing with our lives?
Are we still talking about the education policy?
We've gone to drugs. We've got to do it. Major narcotics, bro.
Speaking of drugs, didn't you have a drug story?
Yeah, I didn't have a drug story. I'll just finish last point.
The master of segues there.
The last point is that
Amit is ready to have kids. I can tell you that now. Patience is the
beautiful thing is Antariksh, irrespective of the show, always has a drug story. So you can always use that segue.
But I think Antariksh has also got through the first year of comedy without a problem because he can take the hecklers now, thanks to us, and he can take the fact that we've just gone somewhere else with his entire show.
Oh yeah, we get hecklers for Antariksh, and honestly, they can go kiss my ass.
We really get hecklers?
We got a few people saying that Antariksh is not as good as the previous guys, right? I'm just like,
what previous guys?
Also,
Abbas.
The producer. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, thanks, Amit. Nobody had to know that.
You must always take the failure and glamorize it. I've done that all my life. It's my gift to you, everybody. If anyone criticizes you, you must make the most out of it.
No, but sometimes we do get some very friendly. I get a lot of my DMs are a lot of friendly people saying like, "Hey man, you're doing a very good job. So love you and Cyrus." Good. So I'm like, "Hey, this is great."
That's Amit trying to prop you up a little bit, bro. He's sweet that way. He's got lots of devices.
There's each of Amit's 7 alter.
Exactly.
See, this seems like a good time to do it because honestly, after what we've had on this show, nobody is lasting this long. So at this time, when I give the little pop up to Antariksh, Yeah, I've done it for Antariksh, but at the same time, nobody's hearing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Antariksh. What was the last policy you had to mention?
The last one is foreign universities in India. This will allow entry of top world-ranked universities to open campuses in India.
So Harvard will be here in, let's say, Bhojpuri language
Harvard, Cambridge.
for the first 2 seasons.
Exactly. That is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Harvard to tie up with lovely professional university.
Correct. And you'll be studying a Tamil course in Bhojpuri for the first 2 years, which will then become ballet dancing in year 3. All right. And as long as the dots connect.
By year 4 you will be managing the lovely professional Harvard University.
So will it be lovely Harvard or Harvard lovely? I mean
I think
which is a bigger name. So you're giving Harvard the credence
Harvard
there.
Lovely, yeah.
You're giving precedence to Harvard. Okay, I suppose Harvard has a longer tradition. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. I mean,
I wouldn't do that with say Berkeley. I would go with lovely Berkeley. It even sounds better. It sounds like a Simon and Garfunkel song. Lovely Berkeley. And you can do harmonies. Lovely Berkeley. Amit is completely now, he's divorced himself from the show.
Are you going to lovely Berkeley?
There, this has been
we're an hour into it, so maybe do AMAs now.
Okay.
You know what, Sriraam? We're like the 2 drunks at the party. Just slowly they move away from you because we're misbehaving. They just pull out like that. You suddenly realize you're alone and just you and this other idiot.
I think Amit's second last roll of the dice was, can we get to the drug story? That didn't happen. Okay, let's just go to the AMAs and call it a show, right?
How can he say something like that and let it hang there? It's not right. That's like you're tempting poor people to rob you. I mean, come on.
Also, I think that's a good prompt, though, Cyrus. Let's look at other Indian American universities, which will come out.
Yeah, there's some strange names like UPenn.
Exactly.
Can you say lovely UPenn because it sounds like a Punjabi gali? Hey, UPenn! Sorry.
My favorite is Sikkim Manipal University. Where
Sikkim Manipal. So that's Manipal in the south.
Yeah, Manipal in the south and Sikkim in the northeast. So they should now it'll be like Sikkim, Manipal,
Arkansas University of Corrections.
That's a great prompt to have, though. If we want, if we could users along with insulting Antariksh, also give us these.
Can I just put a disclaimer on this whole thing, because Cambridge and Oxford have been done to death in India already. Huh? I myself attended Cambridge classes for maths. Okay, turned out nothing to do with England, nothing to do with the tradition of rowing or anything like that. Oxford, though, there are shirts, there are bookstores, there are goggles. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
The dictionary itself.
Because the original Oxford will be seventh in the line. He'll have an identity crisis. I know.
That's right. Is it the same Oxford? It's the same university that's working on the vaccine. Is it the same Oxford?
Exactly. Run by the Dean, Mr. Poonawala. And it's pronounced Oxford in the north. So that's how you know. Okay, now let's go back to Cambridge scholar, Mr. Silvery. AMA, sir?
So let's go to the AMS.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another amazing week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. So it's been a really, really fun week this week. We've had a great episode with Anand Nilakantha on Cyrus Says. Anand was one of the writers of Bahubali, and it's done some really, really fun stuff since that. Ashish Vidyarthi also had a really good episode on his show, Begin the Journey. Please do check that out. You do know Yuddha is back, right? Definitely check it out if you haven't. Yuddha is our show about Indian ancient warfare. It's hosted by Anirudh Kanisetti and Aditya Ramnathan. Really, really great show. You should check that out for sure. And I forgot. Rishikesh was on the network as well. He was on Absolutely Right with Aditi Sarana. Do definitely check that out. With that, let's get you back to this show.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. Only we are laughing, Sriraam. It's like a pile of gloom. It's like, when Bradman used to get out and the crowd would go quiet in Australia. Yeah. Again, the reference is from my time, so I'm sorry, I apologize.
I get the reference.
You could plug in your own reference, something like Rakhi Sawant doing a speech in Nagpur and everybody going, what, are you fucking mad?
I'll tell you what, my reference is, when Nikhil Chinnappa would not take my song request and he would just go on and play Backstreet Boys instead of Tap Thumping.
Yeah.
And there would be a silence in my room.
Did you take that personally? Did you have a lot of angst growing up?
Every time.
A rage against the machine sort of situation?
They didn't play that either.
Did you hurt people because of this song request? I told MTV VJs, take your job more seriously. You can't just scratch your crotch and wear tight shirts and walk around. And I'm talking about the girls. Yeah.
You know what was the most frustrating side is, when you would call the line and you would request your song, they would give you an assurance that yes, your song will be played. And then it'll be 3 p.m. and they don't play the song and the time was over.
And this happened how many times? I mean, like more than 100?
If we are being generous. I would say all of my adolescence, all right.
So I'm glad that you didn't go into engineering or an MBA, because if you could understand that they were never going to play your fucking song after the 7 first rejections, I mean, you building a bridge would be a terrible thing, I just don't give you that responsibility. Or running an MNC, or a country, for that matter. You stay in Chembur and you sing song. You sing Simon and Garfunkel song on Lovely University. You only allow that.
If it helps, I think that'll help me run a call center though. And what is more Indian than that at the end?
No, but call centers are passé now. They moved to Bangladesh and all that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we are too upmarket. Call center, we lost that. We've gone towards the first world without actually leaving the third world. So we're in limbo. It's terrible. AMAs, before we digress.
AMAs.
They've gone silent. Our critics have gone silent.
Has given up. He's just not just on this episode, on the show.
But see, Amit just lets us freewheel. Oh, that's fine. But why Silvery quiet?
I'm waiting for you guys to stop talking so I can say the AMA question.
But you know how many comedians there are in India? If you don't make your voice heard, who'll hear you? You've got to start shouting, bench or choke. That's the opening joke of all comedians. Writers,
Okay. Yeah, are you saying that's what I should say to get you guys to talk?
Yeah, that's what the crowd. It's like Mark Anthony's speech. He used the first line to bring people to listen to him instead of friends.
Let's put it this way, Antariksh. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah.
Abbas and Naveen would have stopped us.
And Naveen used all kinds of galis on heterosexual relations, which I found very bad in bad taste later when I found out he preferred me to, well, let's leave it there. Hi, Naveen. What's up?
Hi. Yeah.
He's a Naveen sexual. All right.
Okay.
Ready.
Let's go on to the EMS. Finally. This one comes in from Deep Menon. He asked, hey Cyrus, great show you got here. Your podcast and the Daily Show.
He didn't hear this one.
Your podcast and the Daily Show help keep my dumb 20-year-old brain at ease.
Wow.
Sucks to be in North Mumbai where no one talks about good old rock and roll. I'm from Kandivali, he says. I have been...
Where we had a monitor lizard yesterday in somebody's bathroom. 3-foot long monitor lizard.
What?
In Kandivali. I have the picture.
Is going through some shit, man.
No, with all this monsoon crap that happened, as you said, the wildlife went left, right, and center. So a monitor lizard would never go to Kandivali. They would always go towards Juhu, where the film stars are, where they'd be appreciated and made into a bag or something, and then, one of the item numbers would be carrying the bag and walking around in a press conference after being called a murderer. But that apart, I was very impressed to see that we have monitor lizards, and it's called the ordinary Indian monitor lizard or something like that. A word like ordinary, which is quite sad because I didn't know.
Way to make the species more exotic.
Yeah.
It's the ordinary Indian
Sriraam, no, it's a 3-foot long lizard. One second. Now my wife is shouting we had them in Alibag. Not the carpenters, the actual lizards. I've never seen a monitor lizard in Maharashtra. Okay, let me tell you. I haven't.
Okay.
And
So he said-
by Maharashtra, I mean Kandivali. So, okay.
But that's what I was about to say. We cut it very close. We were disowning Nala Supara people, and here we are, someone who's a fan from Kandivali. Right? That was damn close.
We all have
This
cousins in
close.
Kandivali, so we have to be careful. It's a little more close than you think. Okay, what is the question? I forgot.
Sorry.
Yeah. He goes on to say, I have been hearing the podcast for quite some time. I always love when Sriraam Padmanabhan joins you guys. Not
Really?
insane. Yeah, Deep Menon.
Wow. How did he know he was
what are
coming?
the odds?
Amit, which one of these secondary accounts is yours? This is Deep Menon.
But, even if it's not true, it's just lovely. I mean, it's
lovely.
like a soothsayer. You can actually predict the guest.
If anything,
And considering you didn't turn up the last time.
Holy shit! Did you see the picture of the monitor lizard?
There you go. Show them the picture.
You're checking it out right now?
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
just
lie. You guys think I
found
lie?
it. Oh
I
my
exaggerate, but I
God.
don't lie. I've never lied. Why do you think the phrase is drain your lizard? The normal lizard is that size. This guy's 3 feet. Like, Silvery, your size. It's huge. And he survived
Just
inside
a
the
second,
bathroom
huh?
for a month or two, apparently. Just eating off the excreta. It's in the papers. I study everything for
It is
stories.
crazy. Yeah, no, this is insane. I can't believe this is like an actually thing.
The monitor lizard survived in the locked up place. Sorry.
I mean,
my wife's fighting.
going by how much Amit is praising this, I want this to have the same amount of amazement as the first time I saw Baywatch. It's at that level of...
What kind of podcast are we that the highlight of the podcast is education process changing in India, followed by a picture of a 3-foot monitor lizard, which we may or may not source. I just want to tell you, as low-hanging fruit go, we've hit the bottom now. We're underground.
Cyrus, I've realized that's what makes Deep become a fan of ours.
Yes.
And let's not question it.
Yes. And the Daily Show is bullshit anyway, so he's right to put us on a paddle there.
That's what I feel that's what I was so happy when Deep mentioned that. Then he compared us to Trevor Noah, who I really dislike. Oh, screen is here.
The screens come, you abused Trevor Noah and the lizards turned up.
This is the
See, that's the thing. It's an
Wow.
It's an Indian toilet.
wow.
That
It's
is
an
why.
Indian toilet, and that is scarier too, right? 'Cause it's just gonna
Ordinary
come
Indian.
right up.
That's right.
Oh my God! Someone took it out.
Listen, I fought a battle with a Malaysian monitor lizard about this size when I was in Malaysia many years ago. I had only a Gatorade bottle in my hand coming back from the gym in the hotel, and I stood there with the bottle, and we had a Mexican standoff, although he was Malaysian, and then after some time he just went off. But I was so scared, man. They can kill you. They're huge.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to be that
was-
big. The normal lizard can kill me, so this guy can murder me. Yeah.
Do you
Then
think these
after
lizards
that-
can climb walls?
Oh, they're
No,
fast,
Like
bro.
every lizard, no?
Lizards are really
but like
fast.
a 3-foot, like a Komodo dragon can't climb a wall and all.
Komodo dragon can climb.
Well, I mean, like-
is very powerful. Huh? I don't know how much he
Very
can climb.
powerful.
He can climb.
Yeah. So my question is, how did it get into the house? Like, do we know what story, what floor?
You have to blame the brokers.
My
They show
guess
anybody
is-
stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. Do we have one more?
You want me to scare you? I think it probably climbed up the sewer
Pipes.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
they come in. If he could fit. I tried that myself. Didn't make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want someone to climb up my pipe. That's not happening either. Strike that from the record, my lord. Sriram's
I think
jumping out of the window. Sriram, go check your bathroom. Is there a lizard in it?
I mean, that's no way to talk about my dad.
I know. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Yeah. I should have used the word monitor. I'm so sorry.
But Cyrus, what I want to ask is, you wrestled the Malaysian
No,
thing.
I kept the bottle in my hand. I'm saying if he takes another step, he was 3 feet from me. Okay, so the place we were staying is a little gardeny area, and the place where the gym was, so there was a little bit of like a 2-minute walk. So I had to walk into the open, in a sense, and then you reach those places where they had cottages. So it sounds all exotic and all, but this is par for the cost there. It's not like expensive. And then he came right up to me. And he stood there, and he's very muscular and all that. It looked like he went to the gym, not me.
Yeah.
He looked at me, and he eye contact for about 5 seconds. I just kept the bottle there. If he charges, I had this plastic bottle to hit him with. That's it.
By the third second of eye contact, did you feel, kind of sexy looking lizard there? You
No,
know, like,
that happened later when I realized what happened to me physically, which I hadn't realized. Yeah. I looked a bit lizardy myself by the end.
Cyrus, I'll be honest, I'll watch that over Man vs. Wild any day, alright?
There was no man here. Monitor and old sloppy Joe. That was it.
Yeah, these question. He says,
Rock and roll.
always love having Sriram
Yeah.
join you guys. Question to Cyrus. He has 3-part questions, but quick.
God.
He goes, do you hear Indian rock and roll or prefer old school rock and roll like Ozzy
Oh, very
Osbourne,
good
Van Halen?
question.
If no, then he has some recommendations. If no, then do check out Girish and the Chronicles. That is GATC. You will like it. Second one is, if you are a fan of Van Halen, who would you vote for? Diamond Dave or B. Sammy Hagar? And number 3 is advice or your thoughts on China. The last one is like he's like, keep it controversial, which is all over the place. I don't know why he wanted to introduce China.
Well, if Girish and the Chronicles ran China, that would solve his problem immediately. I can't think of a more global sort of name than Girish and the Chronicles. You've got everything coming together in that one.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a Van Halen fan. I'm a 60s
Cyrus,
music lover, so that's more 70s,
Cyrus,
80s.
You know
yeah.
the rest of the band hates Girish, right? They're like, why does he?
Yeah.
We have the
Yeah.
Chronicles and he's
So in the
Girish.
end, Girish and some books perform. There's nothing else.
Yeah, it's like Bob Marley and the
Bunty's gone,
Wailers.
Raju's gone.
You know the Chronicles are going to disband from Girish and be like, yeah, you're on your own. Girish.
It's just like Buddy Holly in the cricket. It's just like the alpha, just give you a chance. Imagine putting your name on the podcast like Cyrus says. I mean, that's just so disgusting. What kind of classy person would do that? No way. Yeah.
It's like Raghu Dixit project, you know.
Yeah.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for them to be just project. you
Yeah.
know. Raghu
If he just
Dixit
kept
is
it
out.
Dixit, I'd be okay. But Raghu Dixit was too much information. So Girish can't be
Sorry.
faulted.
Sorry, Cyrus, you were answering the question.
I was not answering the question. I can't even remember the question. Oh,
No, so
all I
do you
remember is
hear-
about China.
Do you hear Indian rock and roll or prefer old
I
school
do.
rock and roll? Like Ozzy
I
Osbourne?
actually grew up with a lot of Rock Machine performances. I know, Amit, did you attend Malhar and
Yeah, of course.
all the Rangbaban?
I rock, right?
yes.
Yeah. All that.
Rock, yeah.
They were the cream of that whole thing. So then they changed their name to Indus Creed. I don't know if you guys remember. There was a song, Living in a Plastic Dream. My wife is singing out some Indus Creed songs in the background there. I thought, and then they went to America and they didn't make it there, but they were really good. And I remember
Are they
everybody.
still around?
Well, now they all disbanded because of they're all in their 70s. So one is in the chiropractor's clinic. One is just outside Leelavati waiting, that kind of thing. But by and large,
That guy must be the bassist, right, Cyrus?
they changed that guy a couple of. The bassist is my broker in Alibag, Mark. He's fabulous, and he had like a Jesus Christ avatar, long hair and open shirt. Anyway, so they were very good for their time. There was a couple of Farads who were very good that we grew up with. But the Girish, and by the time the Girish and all became Chronicles, I'm an old man and I listen to my music from the 60s. So I'm a little Van Halen's not my thing.
What was your go-to rock music, Cyrus?
Not Van Halen
Don't
or
say
Two
Beatles.
Halen or Three Halen. Yeah, I like music from the 70s. I only like Doors, honestly. And to some extent,
Not even Floyd?
No, not really. Floyd, one or two songs you're forced to listen to because you grew up in South Bombay, so everybody sings the same songs. And Indian men knowing only 2 lines of the songs
no
irritate
Queen?
me. Mother, don't you know they're going to break my balls? And one line is when they all wake up. Till then it's like, whatever, hurry up, get on with the song. It's like Alice. Alice. They're just waiting for who the fuck is Alice. Nobody cares about the rest of the song.
That is true.
I can't bear that.
That is true.
Yeah, the number of
That's
times.
an awful song.
We very often we would have you know how 10 standard on Teachers' Day would basically do the classes like the teaching classes or something during the day, would have a performance assembly performance. We very often every year we would have the 10th standard dancing to "We Don't Need No."
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, in front of the faculty, and everyone was so edgy.
That is good. That is good.
But by the time you were in the 10th, those faculty guys grew up on Pink Floyd. So I don't know. You probably made them happy.
They probably did the same thing in school because I know we did.
Yeah, that's been going on forever.
But Cyrus, you're saying not even Queen as a
No, I like
Parsi
Queen.
man?
I like Queen. No, Queen. But see, Queen is not a 70s feel. Queen is like a real mixed feel, going from light opera all the way up to all kinds of music. But then again, the Beatles are everything. Everything comes from the Beatles. You name the album, I'll tell you what is what.
Oh wait,
But then we'll lose our comedy.
Zepp? You're saying not even Led Zepp? Seriously?
No. The hard rock and all was not my thing, bro. I didn't do hard drugs, no. I didn't get into that. The head banging and the hard drug. That was I'm a bit of I'm slightly gay when it comes to music. I like nice lyrics, and even in Hindi music, I like the lyrics to be. I can't bear chole ke piche kya hai and all that. Not that I'm conservative from any angle, but it goes nowhere. The song, you are the Papa the Great, and be great music, no doubt, but not mine. That's not my Van Halen.
Amit, in the US, did you listen to?
Yeah, Amit, I think it's more rock and roll. You'll get more better stuff
I
from
listen
him.
to all of it. Like all of it. I mean,
which band? Which was the first band you went to watch live when you went
live?
To yeah.
Okay. So the first band I ever saw live was in India. Actually, it was Europe Final Countdown people. They had a concert,
they came here. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You didn't go for Samantha Fox live? I mean, I didn't even listen
to Samantha Fox. Yeah,
what
I did go to Samantha Fox. Yeah.
I was listening to the Beatles, but I watched her.
I'll tell you the first concert I went to in the US when I moved to the US.
My wife went for Samantha Fox.
Really?
Just shouting from the back. I went. Why would you go for Samantha Fox? What was in her music that inspired you to go to Andheri to listen to bloody Samantha Fox? You wanted to look like her? Watch what you say now, brocha. Watch what you go call your lawyer before you say anything more. I'll be impeached here, guys. Please pick up the conversation.
Sure. The first concert I saw in the US was actually surprisingly not a rock concert, even though I'm very much into rock. The first concert I saw was MC Hammer, Bell Biv MC Hammer,
the
Boyz II
fraud,
Men, and
MC Fraud Hammer.
MC Hammer was not a fraud. Vanilla Ice was the fraud.
They were the out and out frauds. They didn't write music or
MC
sing
Hammer
it.
was not a fraud.
And how they stole from the Freddie Mercury. I mean, how else can you
of course.
show a middle finger to Cyrus's Creed?
No, but that's just sampling.
What is that opening bars? They're the same?
Which is voted the greatest opening bar in a song ever, right?
Yes.
Right.
Under Pressure.
What do we know? In India, bars are closed. We have no idea.
Have you guys heard the Jim Carrey rendition of that song from In Living Color? The ten.
Yeah, that's Under Pressure. Correct. Same.
There's Jim Carrey rendition
But
of
Jim
that
Carrey
song.
was just trying to be, silly.
Yeah.
These guys tried to rip it off, and I think it became number 1 or number 2. Something ridiculous.
They didn't rip it off. They sampled. Everything is sampled. All rap music is sampled. I mean, like, if you are okay with rap music, then you're okay with sampling.
Wow.
So you're saying all their music comes from another base. It's not
comes
theirs.
from other places. Yeah, I mean, like, what they do is they break the tracks down and they take samples from them.
So
That's
then
how
we have to
most
add
rap
the
music
C
goes.
to rap and call it crap. Okay, got it. I'm writing it down now.
Stuff, man.
So I have to
totally
rewrite my
fine.
anthology of all the great rappers. Crappers. I'm a crapper.
But sampling is a very...
Is Kanye West a crapper or a rapper?
No, he has definitely sampled from in various songs of his. Yeah.
Sampling is
very
very
common.
normal. I mean, it's not an unusual thing.
And you guys, you dirty racist Indians, you make fun of my Bollywood brethren for cheating here and there. And these buggers have taken a whole dimension, a whole genre, which is built on somebody else's blood and talent. How dare you point fingers? How dare you at Anu Malik and Pritham and all these lovely guys? What have they done? Sometimes they steal their own music.
Between sampling and
double sampling.
copying.
That's okay.
There's a difference. There is a
And
difference.
Amit, in Gujarati, it's sample. It's not sample. You have to say simple. Otherwise, we won't
I
pick
like
it
how
up.
Cyrus is equating rap musicians to people from Nala Sopara right now. Which is,
Well, you haven't seen Gully Boy then, my friend.
oh, it's an awful movie. Huh?
Awful.
We
I
spoke about
hate
this.
it.
We spoke about this,
Yes,
I think.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But just to clarify, Indian rock music is actually great. I think it's one of the most underrated genres of music.
Parikrama is nice.
Great band.
I like Parikrama. I'm trying to remember who I
Parikrama
like.
was there
Parikrama was good.
because no foreign band came to India and Parikrama did the best covers. They got like the code. I tell you,
They did
Parikrama.
the originals
I
also.
tell you, Parikrama's story. All right, they are great. They are very self-aware. So when Iron Maiden had come to India, Parikrama has always an opening for them. All right, and soon as Parikrama comes in, everyone's like, start the fucking music.
Yeah, but that would happen every time. Sriram, you're being mean. It would happen to us as anchors all the time. And it wasn't Iron Maiden following. It was some group like Greenhouse or something from Pune. And they were like, shut the fuck, follow, brocha, follow.
So, but then that's a great thing about Parikrama. They were self-aware, like, yeah, we are also here for Iron Maiden only, but you have to bear with us for a little while.
You can't fight these crowds. You'll just die. There's no point. Prepares you for marriage.
Although Steve Harris's daughter followed Parikrama and she was booed way worse. So that was happening. But
she was a maiden. Oh, sorry. Unnecessary. But where were we?
But great Indian music. I love
great
this band, very underrated band called Mother Jane, and another band called Mrigya. Those are the two which I really like.
So you're quite the Girish and the Chronicles yourself, my friend. Oh, little scratch the surface in this desi Western band loving, fucked up, complex, screwed up. I'll sing in English with Indian tabla at the background. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, guys. I'll say bye now.
Hey, can I plug in one thing before?
Yes, please.
We would have, but because of time
I think you should have plugged at the start of the episode if you wanted anybody to listen. Please, go for it.
As we all know, Cyrus has turned all of 22 years old as of yesterday. So please make a point to wish him personally. Try to get his phone number from Amit or Antariksh and wish him personally.
Come over to my house in Chembur. Just give me the exact address, Sriram. So I can open the door and let them in and feed in, because Mehman culture is our thing here.
Also, since we mentioned Abbas before and Kajol Srinivasan, who is one of the guests as well, we are all doing a show on a topic very close to Cyrus's heart, which is sex comedy, and it's happening on the 15th and 22nd. So please join us.
That's a very mean thing to say because both these words I have no knowledge about. I have to tell you, and if you hear this podcast, you'll agree with me.
Yeah, so 15th and 22nd, it's called Thirst Trap. Please come in. I've been expressly asked.
15th of August?
Yes, 15th of August.
You can't do it. You can't mention sex on 15th of August. You check the constitution. You cannot.
Cyrus, on the stroke of the midnight hour. Come on. What does it mean?
Well, you'll have to stop before the midnight hour. That's all I can tell you, stroke or not.
And it's at 12 o'clock at night, so please join us.
Who's at 12 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Wow, I guess I'll be tuning in for sure, guys.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Stroke this, Sriram. Stroke this. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Love you guys.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you. We need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Hi, my name is Anupam Gupta. I'm B50 on Twitter. I am the host of Paisa Vaisa, the show that talks money. On my show, I speak to experts from every field of money and finance, from stock markets, equities, debt funds, credit cards, life insurance, every possible area of money and finance that you can think of. We even did an episode on cryptocurrency. I've got fantastic guests from mutual funds to personal finance experts everywhere. Robo-advisory, startups, just name it, we've got it. At Paisa Vaisa, we help you make smart decisions about money. You work hard for money. Now make your money work hard for you. New episodes out every Monday, and you can listen to my show on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you have.
Advertising is dead. Yep, you heard me right. Advertising is dead. We're all in the content business now. Let's not call it news, TV, radio, etc., etc. It's all content, and we're in the middle of this weirdly exciting phase where all the borders and lines that have been drawn over decades has been swept away by this lovely thing called the internet. We're a show where we don't dwell on just the stuff that is now, but rather the wider stuff about advertising, media, content, and the whole goddamn circus surrounding it. tune in every Tuesday for our weekly unboxing of the mystery box we used to call advertising. I'm Varun Dugirala, co-founder and content chief at The Glitch, and this is my new podcast, Advertising is Dead.